In this week's video, I'd like to discuss with you all the major changes that I believe need to be changed when it comes to the map of Breath of the Wild 2, considering it has been 100% confirmed that Breath of the Wild 2 will be using the same map. All of that in this week's video. Let's dive in. Hey, what's up? Derek here from Zelda Theory, and on this channel sometimes I do Zelda countdown videos, other times I do videos specific to the upcoming sequel to Breath of the Wild 2. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for all things Zelda every single week. I'm super excited to have you here. Since the release of the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer a little over a year ago, fans, much like myself, are making amazing theories and speculations over every little detail in the trailer and what they might potentially mean. Now, while these theories may or may not turn out to be true, the one thing that Nintendo has 100% confirmed is that the sequel to Breath of the Wild will be using the same map as the original. This could really go two ways, I think. It could be a really good thing, and by that I mean letting us explore more of what we weren't able to in the original. An example of this here could be like underwater exploration. I know for a fact I'm not alone here, my fellow Zelda fans, because in the comments of the previous videos I've noticed that you guys have wanted the same thing. It'd be super cool. Now on the other hand, it could go really wrong, and by this I mean Hyrule Castle literally not changing in any way, looking beautiful from afar, yet not being able to explore it in depth with literally no life, no NPCs, nothing. Talk about brutal. Now, obviously, Nintendo is going to have to make a lot of changes to the sequel. We see in the trailer that they are already taking this into consideration by showing Link and Zelda literally traveling through the cave that they are in during the trailer. Now, if we consider the story of Breath of the Wild, there's many areas in the game that were specifically designed to accommodate particular plot points. And now that those certain points are gone, Nintendo could go back in and change them to fit the new story, or quote unquote even remove the areas in question entirely. Nintendo could even potentially decide to keep some of the areas exactly as they were. It all really depends on the direction of the narrative of the sequel. Let's go ahead and dive into some areas that I'd really love to see change in the sequel. Now, as I touched on earlier, Hyrule Castle is an area in the original Breath of the Wild that I was actually a little disappointed in, and by little I mean a lot. Hyrule Castle in Breath of the Wild is literally the epicenter of the game's plot. The main overall quests are there, the final boss fight is there, and it's the source of the calamity in the game. During the events of the game, the castle is overrun by the strength and brute force of Calamity Ganon. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Calamity Ganon, it's pretty much a formless version of Ganon from previous games in the series. When Link and Zelda defeat the Calamity and its dark beast from out on the castle field, the area begins to shine in an aura of peace. The villain of Breath of the Wild 2 is still unconfirmed, but the defeat of Ganon in Breath of the Wild must mean that some kind of change is going to happen in Hyrule Castle, especially because Ganon and the castle seem to be so inseparable in the game. The Breath of the Wild 2 trailer shows the base of the castle exploding to some degree due to the resurrection of what appears to be Ganondorf, but it doesn't show anything beyond that, including whether or not the entire castle exploded or not. Either way, I'd expect that the fans can expect this area of the game to be redesigned into the new focal point for the sequel of Breath of the Wild. I'd really like to see a Hyrule Castle that is returned to its former glory. We see some of this in some of the memories in the game. I just think that it would be so cool to actually be able to talk to certain NPCs and explore what things were like before the Calamity took over. Sort of like how it was in Twilight Princess, but in a more updated, modern sort of way. The Great Plateau to me is another area on the Breath of the Wild map I'd like to see shifted in a way, and let me explain this. The Great Plateau is an essential area in Breath of the Wild, right? I mean, it's where everything begins. It's where the opening of the game takes place, and it serves as a tutorial area for players to get their bearings before they set off on the game's full adventure. It's also the area where much of the DLC of the game takes place. For Breath of the Wild 2, it's highly unlikely for Nintendo to use the Great Plateau in the same way as before, as there will probably be a new opening area for players to learn the game's mechanics. Maybe. We don't really know. This leaves Nintendo with a few options in dealing with how they will allow players to explore the Great Plateau in a new, unique way. It should also be noted that the Great Plateau is located south of Hyrule Castle and is also toward the middle of the game world, meaning that it would be strange to just kind of remove the entire area out of the game. So really, in a nutshell, Nintendo has two options here. They could either leave it where it is at as a relic, or they can make it one of the final levels of the game, bringing the adventure back into a complete full circle. However, fans can rest assured that Nintendo knows what they are doing, no matter what decision it ultimately takes with Breath of the Wild 2. Me personally, I think it would be absolutely epic to be able to bring the area in full circle and end the two games where it all started, right back on the Great Plateau. The 4 divine beasts of the Breath of the Wild represent the 4 major dungeons of the game. Nintendo is likely to reintroduce dungeons in a major way, since they completely kind of removed them from the original and completely ticked off the long-term fans of the series. So potentially the site of those divine beasts could be altered in some way to reflect the fact that they're actually gone or moved from their original areas. The divine beasts reside in the 4 major metropolises of the game: Rito Village, Goron City, Zora's Domain, and Gerudo Town. With the beast out of the hands of Calamity Ganon, it's also possible that Nintendo decides to keep the beast in their respective areas. One could imagine that the beast would make for an appealing decoration and in-game city potentially. Me personally, I would love to see the current champions pilot these divine beasts in a whole new way than the original. Maybe Link and Zelda need this extra power from the divine beast in order to combat Ganondorf and his immense power. An all-out battle to end things once and for all, Link and Zelda, the 4 new champions, and the King of Evil. My Lord in heaven, how sweet would that be? So the question of the day is, what do you, my fellow Zelda fans, want to see change with the map in Breath of the Wild 2? Let me know in the comments below, and to see more Zelda content, click on either of the videos coming up on the screen now, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, continue to be the light in someone's life, and remember, it is dangerous to go alone. Hope to talk to all of you very soon.